You don't have to have those things because a lot of those diseases occur because of micronutrient deficits and poor nutrition, right? You don't have to be sick all the time. And this is not just about losing weight. It's about earning great health and feeling great and living life to the fullest. You can reverse disease. You could add 20 or more years to your life. It's not as hard as you think. It's easy. It's fun. It's delicious. What's hard is getting sick all the time. What's hard is being chronically sick and always feeling ill and losing your enthusiasm for life. Being healthy is fun. Makes life exciting, right? And I see people putting this into practice every day, transforming their lives. And you know what? It's so incredibly rewarding for me as a physician, and I feel so excited about choosing this career and choosing a career using nutrition as the primary therapy because I see things other doctors don't see. Ronnie Valentine, great guy. Never met him, though, but I've spoken to him on the phone. He was overweight. He weighed over 300 pounds, and he had heart disease where he had severe chest pains. He had to go through bypass surgery. Right? His scale said 300 pounds, he told me, but he doesn't know if he weighed 310, 320, or 330. The scale only went up to 300 pounds. Right? Ronnie had bypass surgery, and within 2 years, the chest pains came back again. Right? And you know, the studies, the meta-analysis on bypass surgery and angioplasty, the word meta-analysis, it means they pool together many different studies to get more accuracy. And the studies show people undergoing those procedures, they don't live longer. Eventually, their pains come back. For Ronnie, he got worse again, had to go through angioplasty after bypass surgery, but it didn't work. Because within 1 month after angioplasty, what happened is the medical term called restenosis. It means the vessels hardened up again, and stenosis, or scar tissue, formed, and his chest pains came back. He was literally giving up on life at this point. He was just ready to go home and die. He was on medications, multiple drugs to lower blood pressure, multiple drugs to lower cholesterol, drugs to take away chest pain, and still couldn't function. He got fed up. He Googled reversed heart disease or plans, and he found me. And he adopted the program you're learning from me today. And you know what happened? He lost 140 pounds in 1 year. In 1 year, 140 pounds. But that's not the story here. The story here is chest pains are gone. The story here, in a few months, he's feeling good. The story is he's powerful, he's slim, right? He's exercising, running, playing tennis, back to work again. He's got a complete, full life. He doesn't need blood pressure medication anymore. Whereas before, on 2 blood pressure medications, his blood pressure was still elevated. Now he's on no blood pressure medication, and his systolic blood pressure is 115, like a child, on no medication, right? His cholesterol, which was high on cholesterol-lowering drugs, now his total cholesterol is about 120. His LDL is about 65 on no cholesterol medication. Wow. He achieved it with excellent nutrition. He knows that the knowledge he learned is going to enable him to stay well for the rest of his life without heart disease. Here's a guy who already went through angioplasty and bypass. And if you speak to him, he'll say to you, he said, this means a lot to me. It means a lot to me because I don't want people to go through what I had to go through in life. I don't want them to have to suffer as much as I had to suffer before I learned I could take control of my health. I could water down this information to make it more acceptable to the mass, to a broad number of people. As a physician, I have to give you the information you need to know so you could take control and so it really works for you. You could choose to smoke cigarettes, do anything you want to hurt your life, but if you want to have a healthy life, let's make sure you have a healthy life. Let's live to be at least 95 years old in great health. Just like my friend Jack Duntrop, a movie producer actually, Jack Duntrop. He had 2 heart attacks before the age of 50. He learned about this program, he adopted excellent nutrition, and he lived to be in his late 90s, and I was playing him tennis, singles tennis in his 90s. He was running around the court like a jackrabbit in his 90s. Lots of people like that, and I see this in my patients. People who have seen me when in their 70s, and now they're in their 80s and 90s, and they're in better health now than they were when they were younger. They don't need doctors, they don't need surgeries, they don't need emergency rooms, right? So what did we just learn? Let's recap for a minute, okay? We learned that micronutrients are the secret to incredible health. And this is not that hard to do. It can be made delicious, and you can do this. You can do it, you can have fun, you can get excited about your life, and we can all do this together. And after the break, I'm going to discuss why almost all diets fail And that's because low-nutrient eating fuels powerful addictions to overeating that just can't be denied. So stay with us, and we'll be right back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome back. Earlier we learned step 1 of my 3 steps to incredible health, the power of micronutrients, how consuming more micronutrients will transform your health and your life. And we learned that every calorie is not the same. We learned that the common diseases that afflict Americans are not the natural consequence of aging, and they're not predominantly genetic. We're in control of those things. Now, step 2, eliminating food addictions and your desire to overeat. Because I'll bet that you guys believe that getting back to your ideal weight and staying there is all about eating less and exercising more. Isn't that what most people think? You just eat less and exercise more, right? How long have you tried that without success? Right? Like the last 20 years, right? Because 99% of Americans lose weight, gain it all back again. And you know, when you lose weight and gain it back again, it's worse than never losing it all. Because when you lose weight and put it back again fast, you put back more atherosclerosis, more fat inside the body and inside the blood vessels. The dangerous fat. Here's the thing. Without success, you had trouble. You felt hopeless. You tried it long enough, eventually you just give up the struggle and say, forget it. I'm just going to stay overweight the rest of my life. So many people who've succeeded on this program have felt the same thing, just like you felt. They felt there's no point in trying anymore because it doesn't work anyway, right? Yeah. There's a much simpler way to do it. The simpler way is to focus on eating the right kind of foods that are rich in micronutrients. Teresa was 227 pounds, and now she's 125 pounds. That's a loss of 98 pounds, right? So it's 98 pounds. Most of these people lose the weight. They lose about 100 pounds the first year. And the point what I'm bringing up here with Teresa is she tried almost every diet there was. She's tried high protein, low carb, low fat, pink drinks, all the, and then, you lose a little weight and you gain it back again. Who can maintain that, right? And her dress size went from a size 20 to a size 2. She's proud of herself, My point here, is the problem isn't you, right? It's not you. It's all the bad information. It's all, all the bad information that told you to just eat less and you'd lose weight, right? It just doesn't work. Who wants to feel hungry all the time, right? And be constantly in a battle against your body's urges to eat. How can that be maintained? Eventually you get mental breakdown fighting on a diet your whole life. It's always uncomfortable trying to eat less when you feel like eating more. It's like telling you to, why don't you, I see you breathing there at 14 breaths a minute. Instead of 14 breaths a minute, I want to see you breathe at 10 breaths a minute only. Within 5 minutes, you'll be gasping for air. I can't control the air you need. It's hard for me to control how much food you take in. Your body gives you those signals. Your body is giving you the wrong signals. It's giving you the wrong signals because you haven't met the body's micronutrient needs. This is quite scientific, but the science that explains how this works is quite fascinating. Let me explain it to you. We're going to look at a curve here. And the first curve is called the anabolic part of the curve. Now, the word anabolic means to build. That's the portion of the curve when you're eating and digesting. It's building part of your body. You're breaking down food, and you're turning it into you, so you can absorb it. Like you take the food and you break it down to glucose, so the body absorbs it as glucose, and the body takes the glucose in the bloodstream, and it puts it, and it stores it as glycogen. The stuff that's not burned, it stores it as glycogen. When we need it again, it turns it back to glucose again. You got that? Yeah. Now, there's 2 phases of digestion. There's the anabolic phase, and there's the catabolic phase, okay? Anabolic, catabolic, right? The anabolic phase is we're digesting food, and the catabolic phase is when we're living off of what we saved when we digested and stored away the food. That's the food when we're burning it off. It's like you go to the gas station and you fill up your car with gasoline. That's the anabolic, where you're filling it up. And as you're driving the car and burning off the gas, that's the catabolic phase. You following that? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So here's what's happening now. What happens is, in the anabolic phase, when the body is busy digesting, it's storing that food. It's not repairing itself. It's not detoxifying. It's not healing. When it goes into a catabolic phase, when you're not digesting, that's the phase where the body can more effectively heal and detoxify and increase its repair. So very often, when people enter that catabolic phase, they start to feel uncomfortable because the body heightens repair and it circulates toxins for removal. You see, because as we eat food that's not micronutrient rich, as we eat more processed foods, when we eat foods that do not meet our micronutrient needs, we build up free radicals. We build up other toxins like advanced glycation end products called AGEs, right? Lipofuscin, aldehydes, all kinds of toxins build up in the tissues. You don't have to know those things. But when we stop eating and we're in that catabolic phase and the body tries to repair itself, and maybe you'll feel ill. Maybe you'll feel shaky or weak. You're not going to feel that well in the catabolic phase. But you know what makes you feel better? If you eat again and stop the catabolic phase, put you back in the anabolic phase again, right? You'll feel better. Because you feel better, you think it's hunger. I call it toxic hunger because it's feeling uncomfortable when you entered the catabolic phase. And instead of being able to burn off what you stored, instead of burning it off, you feel like eating again to feel better again. Like, just imagine if you were drinking 10 cups of coffee a day. I know you're not, but just make believe you are, okay? You're drinking 10 cups of coffee a day. Or soda, right? And now I tell you, stop the coffee right away. Are you going to feel better or worse? Worse, right. What's that called? Withdrawal or detoxification, right. So here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the American diet is so toxic, it's like drinking 10 cups of coffee a day. It's like snorting cocaine. It's like smoking cigarettes. Actually, obesity is more dangerous than smoking cigarettes. It shortens your life more. You know what the word addict means? We learned in medical school the word addiction. It means that when you take something in that's unhealthy for you, you feel better while you're taking it in. You try to stop it, you feel bad. You can't stop it because you feel too ill if you try to stop it. That's the word addiction. So here's what I'm saying. I'm saying the American diet is so addicting, so poor, so unhealthy, that the minute people stop digesting food, even for a short period of time, they feel withdrawal symptoms. They feel what I call toxic hunger. It's toxic hunger. It's not true hunger. Most Americans don't even know what hunger feels like, right? Yeah. Let me finish explaining the science for a minute, because this is pretty interesting. What happens now, remember the sugar was stored as glycogen in the muscle tissues and in the liver? And now, let's say you're eating healthy, and you lose your toxic hunger and your food addiction. So now you enter the catabolic phase, and what do you feel? Nothing. You're fine. Live your life. Fun. Great. I ate. Not hungry anymore. Am I hungry? No. Feel fine. Now I have the chance to burn off that glycogen. And as the glycogen starts to get used up, if I continue not to eat and all the glycogen is gone, what will happen? Because the brain can only be fueled by glucose, right? As you're sitting here listening to me talk, the brain is utilizing 90% of your caloric needs of the body. And the brain needs glucose to function. You're burning about 50 calories an hour, and about 45 of those 50 calories are being utilized by the brain. When the glycogen, which is turning back into glucose, is all used up, the body can break down muscle tissue to make glucose for the brain. You can't burn fat to make glucose for the brain. You could use the fat for exercise and activity, for other things for the body's needs, but not for the brain's use. The body is going to break down muscle tissue to turn, because it can turn amino acids from the muscle tissue into glucose. You think the body wants to break down your muscle tissue to make glucose to feed the brain? It doesn't want to do that. It would prefer that you eat than break down muscle tissue. So what do you think happens before you start losing any muscle tissue? You get truly hungry. You get real hunger, right? Which is felt in the mouth and throat. And it's accompanied by a dramatic enhanced sense of taste, heightened sense of taste, and it makes food taste great, and it makes eating 10 times more pleasurable than eating when you're not hungry. So here's the thing. Because I'm saying here and trying to explain to you that your body is a precise computer directing you to the exact amount of calories you need to eat each day. Within 25 calories a day, your body knows exactly what to eat to maintain your lean body mass, right? Because hunger is there to protect your lean body mass. Hunger does not exist to put fat on your body. To have gained weight, to have become overweight, you had to have eaten outside of the demands of true hunger. You had to have eaten because of recreation, because of toxic hunger, right? Because of food addiction. When you get put back in touch with the instinctual drives to eat, of when to eat and when not to eat, you don't have to diet, you don't have to measure food anymore, you don't have to weigh anything. Your body's giving you the precise and exact signals of how much food you need to eat to maintain your perfect weight. Sets you free. Never have to diet again. And you know how much food you eat? You eat the amount of food you want to eat.